Okay. What is this? Why Rachel Zegler's downfall is so satisfying? Maybe because she's really unlikable. I don't know. I feel like the more unlikable you are, the harder you fall. Yo, Ella, thank you for the biddies. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm a narcissist. If we're being real, this was to be expected.
Right off the rip? God damn!
Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And as per usual, before we launch in, today's video is sponsored by Beam. Also, as you all
That's a bean. Like a bean.
know, I am going on tour
Tasty
in October,
bean.
doing a fun show, an almost real-life video, if you will, for you all. Link in the description if you want to buy tickets. But as part of that, we have been working on some tour-specific merch, so it will be exclusive at the shows. And I think the initial concepts are kind of funny, and I think you'll like them, so I wanted to show you, okay? I know I already have Hell Gondola merch on my website for those of you who think we're in a boat, but for those of you who think we're in the, like, Hell Air Gondola, this is what I've come up with for you. Then there is this
cute.
one that we thought would be really cool on a jacket. And here is me as your Hell Gondolier. Hell Gondola boat person. Anyway, if you come to a show, there will 100% be tour exclusive merch. So these are just some of the concepts. I thought you'd find them funny. But as I said, link in the description. If you want to come, there will be tickets. Come see me. Come hang out. Let's do the video. So, over the years,
How many crazies do you think are gonna show up at her show?
Hollywood has had a bunch of actors and actresses who have been very strongly disliked, whether they deserved it or not. For a long time, it was Brie Larson that people really, really hated.
I did my stunts because I thought that that's what everyone did, and then
Tom Cruise over here.
no, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very
Man, that reeks of arrogance. Imagine having to work with her.
Wow.
Then it was
Okay!
I'm transgender and I'm binary and I don't want to be searched by a man.
Then it was every woman in the female
This Ghostbusters was so bad. It was criminal. I think it came out 2017.
only Ghostbusters, and I currently strongly dislike Pedro Pascal.
Stop trying to make Pedro happen. It's not going to happen.
But for
That
a very
drama.
long time, it seems that nobody has quite captured the public's disdain like our
16,
girl,
yeah.
Rachel Zegler.
Weird.
Again, she publicly called the original Snow White weird. And she said that their remake would take a different approach. Why would you ever publicly state that? Even if you really truly believe that it is not something that you'd like to watch. You want to make money, don't you? Like, that's the whole point of, having a job, no?
Zegler's career started out bright and
Virtue
hopeful,
signaling.
as you would probably expect. And although she was only a teenager when she landed her first role, she was believed to be on a path to superstardom. But in the eyes of a lot of viewers, her success has been relatively short-lived, maybe even destroyed, and strangely, this was done by none other than Rachel Zegler herself. There is something very interesting to me about people who basically nuke their own success trajectory. At this point, she sort of feels like the poster child for it. What's really interesting is that Zegler's fall from grace has been a very satisfying watch for plenty of people. And it isn't because she isn't talented, although I personally don't love her singing or acting, but that's just me. Some people really do, and
That's
that's
a
great for
preference,
them.
sure, yeah.
It's because she cannot
never
seem
watched
to
it.
stop herself from directly degrading her fans, alienating people with polarizing political statements, and
She had a political outburst in the middle of a promo for her show, and had a fight with the co-actress. That's what kind of solidified it all. I'm like, you really can't control yourself, really. Like, I understand, maybe you don't like your coworker for other reasons, but god damn, you are still having to promote this movie. Other people rely on it to make a living.
insulting the original works
What about the
of
makeup artists and
adaptations
all the
she's
people that
been
work
in.
on it, man?
Across the board, I might add. Rachel Zegler's career launched when, at 17, she landed the role of Maria in Steven Spielberg's 2021 adaptation of West Side Story. I am potentially ashamed to admit that I know absolutely every song in this musical. Sometimes I just walk around my house clicking.
What the hell is West Side Story? It's a musical. I know that, but I never watched it. Damn, Sydney, you kind of showing your age, huh?
I will get out of the way of my clicking!
Yeah, I've
This
seen clips of
performance
this.
was reasonably well received and even earned her a Golden Globe.
The actors of C-3PO and R2-D2 hated each other. Yeah, but you never saw that, like, in any shape or form through, like, I don't know, acting or social media. I guess social media didn't really exist back then, but interviews, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Were excited about her. Comment sections of old interviews and appearances from around this time are largely supportive. But then, her interviews showed that she was seeing the world and her works through a bizarre, woke, progressive lens. This was showcased in one interview from 2021, where she critiqued the West Side Story's racial dynamics, blaming white people for the main conflicts in the plot.
But it's set in West Side Story, like in some, like, I don't know much about that, but it's set in a largely white area, is it not? Are we serious? Yeah, I don't get
West
it.
Side Story, and honestly, I'm probably not going to because, like most things today, I will probably hate it. But I have to say that as far as the original goes, it wasn't. I mean, like, yes, it included things about ethnic dynamics between the warring groups, but that wasn't the primary focus. That was
there was just some cringy love story.
It's Romeo and Juliet. That's the story. That's the basis of it. I don't want to get stuck in the weeds here, but my god. I'm sorry.
She's passionate about it, I get it.
Obviously not part of this video at all, but this is on the bright side, how all of you find out that I was at one time a giant theater nerd. Anyway, in one
Oh no, she was a drama kid. This explains a lot.
clip, she calls the Sharks, the rival gang of the Jets in this new version of West Side Story, a rainbow of the Latino community.
Why are you labeling things? It's so weird.
And then struggles to name what constitutes Latino diversity.
The Sharks are a rainbow of the Latino community. We have...
Why does she, like, code switch? Oh my god. Oh my god. I just remembered Asmund saying something, like, a week or two ago, and I remember seeing a clip of him saying people who code switch are unironically insane. She did it. She literally did it just now. Did you hear that?
Of the Latino community, and then struggles to name what constitutes Latino diversity.
The Sharks are a rainbow of the Latino community. We have Afro-Latinos. We have like...
What does code switch mean? When you change the way you speak because you want to feel like you are not misappropriating or mispronouncing. How do I explain this? Do you guys know when I start speaking, like, in a Russian accent? Like, you know how I do it, for example? It's for me, it's comedic. I don't do it to basically appease my audience. Because what she did, she was talking normally, and then she code switched into, quote-unquote, a Latino accent. Yeah, like white voice, black voice. You do it because you speak Russian? No. I use it for comedic effect. I don't have an accent, but for her, it's just so strange to hear it because she was talking normally, and then she goes, Latino and the community, and it's so difficult to, like, replicate what she's doing because I think it's so cringe. But she basically started having an accent when she started bringing up Latino community.
Light-skinned Latinos. We have Latinos from Puerto Rico.
It's amazing.
She doesn't say Puerto Rico. She says Puerto Rico. A lot of people do that, though. I understand a lot of people do that, but she's doing it to make it seem like she's part of their world.
I have to say this here too, because this is a theme in many of Rachel Zegler's interviews, and those of you who are actually Latin or have Latin roots will have to tell me if this is normal, but She's American. Rachel Zegler is American, and she speaks English. She does not speak Spanish, and
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not that she's not Spanish or Latino or Latina. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I do it because I'm getting scatterbrained over here because it's really bad. But what I'm trying to say is that when you are someone who is not of that descent, I understand if you're Puerto Rican and you say Puerto Rico or whatever, I understand. Like, but for me, if I'm talking to someone who's from Puerto Rico, I don't just code switch and say, oh, you're Puerto Rican. I say, you're Puerto Rican. Like, I speak it like a normal person would, like an American, because I'm not Spanish. I have no reason to do it.
And she certainly doesn't speak it fluently. I looked it up. So for the life of me, I don't understand why she's insisting
I'm really
on
poor at explaining, but you understand
Spanish
what I'm saying,
words and names with a Spanish accent that she doesn't have in a language that she doesn't speak.
Puerto Ricans, Maria, Latino, Latina, Maria.
And she switched as soon as she started saying the words Latino. She immediately, it wasn't like she had an accent the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm being a nitpicky butthole, but I think
it's weird.
Forced and weird. It'd be like if I was talking to someone and every time, I had to say a French word, I said it in a French accent. It's awkward. Yes, I have also been to and lived in France. No, please. I would love a croissant. I'm not
croissant.
Gonna lie, I would actually love to shout fromage at people. I think that would be a lot of fun. Anyway, even back in 2021, these comments felt a little bit weird. But
I would feel like that would be like a valid thing a valid way of talking. Like, sure, maybe it's a little bit strange, but I wouldn't do it.
For a lot of people, the progressiveness in them felt quite forced. But a lot of Rachel Zegler's initial stupidity really could have just been chalked up to being a young person and growing up in a very, very politically polarized period of time. But as time wore on, this really proved to be more of a feature of Rachel Zegler, not a bug. And before long, her trashing the original pieces of the adaptations that she was performing in became kind of common.
Man, you want to know what else is depressingly incredibly common? Not being able to get sleep, which is why today's video is sponsored by Beam.
As you all hopefully know by now, I only work with brands that I actually like and use. And that is 100% Beam's Dream Nighttime Hot Chocolate for Beam. Forgive my grubby packaging.
I don't want to get into the weeds of it, but I'm not trying to say that it's not okay to pronounce certain words. It's that in this instance of her trying to talk in an interview, and she quite literally changes her accent midway through, despite not being Latin, is extremely weird and baity and forced. She makes it, I almost thought she was like, maybe she was of Latin American descent, but she's not.
Like I said, I actually use it.
It's
Since
very
I told you
weird.
all about Dream, a number of my friends have actually started using it because they watch my videos and they watch my little ad. Like, I gave one of them a little baggie of some of the formula, and then she said that that was the best sleep of her life, and then she bought some for herself. And of course, she used my code CBW for 35% off. And that's basically been my experience too. Better, well-rested sleep and no disgusting grogginess when I wake up. When I was sick recently, I had to use a sleep decongestant instead of Dream because I couldn't breathe at night, and it was noticeable how much worse I felt trying to wake up. With Dream, I warm up some milk or water, throw a scoop of Dream in, mix it up, and drink it about 45 minutes before I'm ready for bed. And the good news is that this formula includes great ingredients like magnesium, L-theanine, reishi, and melatonin, but you can always get their melatonin-free version if you're sensitive to it. I'm so glad that Beam wanted to sponsor this channel again because I love this product, I love the taste, I love the sleep I get, and I love that it has no gluten, no added sugar, and is non-GMO. So if you too want a better sleep and a yummy drink, then click the link in the description or go to shopbeam.com.
If you drink anything with a lot of magnesium, you're probably going to be on the toilet.
/SydneyW. And don't forget to use code SydneyW for up to 35% off for a limited time. Or you can always subscribe for long-term long-term perks and benefits like free shipping. In a 2022 interview, Zegler said that her version of Maria was a multi-dimensional character, unlike the black and white original film and stage production versions.
New and improved Maria, who
Again, new and improved. Nobody cares if you want new and improved. You are an actor. She's extra dimensional. She's extra dented, man. This is so weird to me.
was just this multi-dimensional character rather than this kind of black and white individual that I think a lot of people remember from Carol Lawrence's performance or Natalie Wood's performance in the Bob Wise movie and the stage production, stuff like that.
She also comments on how great the team she worked with was, which is very nice, but she also emphasizes that she isn't hyping up the film just to win awards, which feels like a bit of a weird thing to say.
Of course I want to win awards. I'm a human being.
Zegler's next big role was in 2023's Shazam! Fury of the Gods, a box office flop, and that's honestly putting it mildly, that didn't
I never heard of this movie.
help carry any momentum for her career. Frankly, until I was making this video, I didn't even know that she was in this movie, or that this movie even existed, so, you know, there's that. But even here, she left a bad taste in people's mouths when she was asked about why she wanted to join the DC universe, and she responded that she simply needed a job.
Which is fine, but you shouldn't say that. It's kind of like someone who's a streamer who's been streaming for a while, and then they just blatantly to their audience says, "Yeah, I only stream because I need to make money." Like, obviously it's a job, but like, holy shit, you're an actor, you're an entertainer, you shouldn't say that. Like, you're not on the level of someone who cleans toilets, like, for a living. Good lord, man, your life is so easy in comparison.
What made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job.
Yeah, it's so pretentious. And again, it's this, like, ego and how she basically makes a message and a statement saying, "I don't care about your nostalgia. I'm gonna rewrite it to my own purposes." Which is fine, you're allowed to think that, but you're being blatantly dishonest and... Well, not dishonest is the wrong word, because that's what she actually thinks, but it's just like you don't care about entertaining people, you just want to insert your message in there.
So serious?
Some people really appreciated these comments. They thought that they were real, they thought that they were relatable, but then others thought that this came across as entitled and smug. And as her media career grew, her interviews just got weirder.
Weird.
On Jimmy Kimmel Live in the same year, while talking about her upcoming role as Snow White in the Disney remake, she tried very hard to be funny, but kind of missed the mark and just came across as reasonably unlikable. While talking with Kimmel about her new role, Zegler shared a story about a fan singing to her a line from the song Maria, which is from West Side Story, as she was leaving the restroom at a Chili's. Instead of chalking it up to possibly an awkwardly timed encounter with an overly excited fan, she claimed that the interaction ruined her night and made her leave the restaurant.
Even if that truly made you uncomfortable, you should never say that. No, genuinely. You don't say that. You're also at a Chili's, get over it? That's actually a good point. What did you expect? It's a Chili's. I think she has no filter. Yes, because her ego is huge. She thinks that every single thought that pops into her head has to be said out loud. She doesn't think like, hey, maybe this will make me look really arrogant, because nobody ever told her to shut up. I think she might be weird. No, I think she's arrogant. Weird is fine. You're allowed to be weird. I think if you're genuinely weird and you're just honest and upfront about it, that's way better than being an arrogant son of a bitch.
And there was a man coming out of the men's room, and he looked at me, and he just went, "I've just kissed a girl named Maria." And I came back from the bathroom, and I walked up to DJ Katrona, and I grabbed him by the shoulders, and I said, "We need to leave."
Oh, really?
If I came into the restroom and someone recognized me and said Aboba, I would have just been like, walk back to my table. What the fuck? You are so full of it. It's not that bad. It's not like he followed her and started singing. Genuinely, I mean, maybe she gets it a lot, and like maybe she gets it because she's a celebrity, right? She's an actress and she's hot. Maybe she gets it a lot, but still, I feel like it's not that bad.
Really?
And even then, you shouldn't share it on national television.
Ruined your Applebee's dining experience.
Applebee's of all things.
This is a hot one because I do.
Hot? No, she is hot. Like, come on, man. She's skinny. She's got decent boobs. She's not ugly. Come on. Don't say hot. You would bang a chick like her if she wasn't that arrogant, okay? Not my type. Okay, she's not your type, but she's hot, okay? Just come on. Don't be... Ugly personality, that's totally fine. I get it.
I think that
she's
people
alright.
are entitled to having private time.
Just put a bag over her head. Tell her to shut up.
But I don't know. I don't know if I would admit this type of thing on a national television show. And in this way, it doesn't... I don't think it comes off very nicely. Like, even if you think this, maybe just don't admit to it in this way or articulate it a little bit more nicely, because if that fan was watching this interview, they would feel quite sad and embarrassed, I imagine. And
It's not even about that. It's that anybody else who maybe sees her in public is like, oh, well, she's gonna be a huge bitch if I, like, look at her and say a line from a movie, you know? Like, maybe the toilet coming out thing was, like, inappropriate, I guess, because you're coming out of the toilet. Maybe it was bad timing, like Sydney said, but still, I feel like I would have the self-control to be like, I shouldn't say this on national television in front of millions of people.
For sure could be wrong here, but it absolutely makes you sound like a little bit of a jerk. And the grand finale of weird comments during this interview was when Zegler complained to Kimmel that fans often asked to take photos with her in front of the Snow White ride at Disneyland, and she has to pretend to enjoy it.
Love you. I love me. I love you.
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and it is I have to pretend like, oh God, I love you.
Wants to.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't and you get stopped, like, it's not that bad. Honesty to a fault? Yeah, sometimes it's just like, you should have just kept your mouth shut. I am 100% certain other celebrities get annoyed when they have to get stopped constantly. I totally understand what she's trying to say, but you shouldn't fucking say that. Even if it's annoying and you don't like doing it, you're a celebrity. That's how it is. It's part of your job.
Play Snow White, but hates having to actually act like Snow White.
Yeah, weird.
We also can't forget her disrespect towards the original animated Snow White film, and the many comments that made people very upset and basically put her on the map. As many of you likely know by now, Zegler royally upset the internet when she did a series of press interviews about the Snow White remake. In one, and this is the one that you've all probably seen a million times, she referred to the prince in the film as a stalker, explaining how the story was about Snow White's girl bossification rather than her pursuit of love.
And that rubbed people the wrong way. The movie itself, I'm pretty sure Snow White came out in 1920 or 1930. It's quite literally iconic, generational. And you think that you telling that your audience that the prince is weird and that it should be reinterpreted, that is not a good PR move. I would hate to be the PR person that had to tell her to shut up. And she kept going, by the way. She's undermining their nostalgia.
She also joked about cutting all of her love interest scenes. As you do.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evident.
Honest to a fault, man.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah, literally stalks her. No, what? What are you smoking? If I was the Disney executive, I'd want her head on a platter. That is so insane. Like, what? You're costing me money! Shut up!
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
Not this
She's the
time.
prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
I'm a narcissist.
In another, she talked about how she didn't like the original movie and actually found it quite scary as a child, which, like,
Then why are you starring in it? I'm sorry, if I don't know, was in a video game and I don't like the video game, why the fuck am I in the video game? What? Because money, yes, correct, she needed a job, you're right, wait. I'm so stupid, damn. She needed a job, yeah, you're right.
like, honestly, fair enough.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
You know what's
Okay.
actually weird? Appearing in remakes of works that you clearly dislike. Sadly for Disney, and honestly Hollywood, although they poured millions of dollars into fancy marketing and basically begged fans to like both Rachel Zegler and the Snow White film, people just didn't.
It was
the
too
damage
late.
had been done. Tear. And Disney knew it too, because in the lead up to the film's release, they relegated her to the back of the bus and tightly controlled the premieres and interviews, deciding who could ask questions, who could answer them, and really dialing down all of their marketing events, much to the chagrin of the other actors in the film. But the film's flop was really to be expected.
Imagine, you would play a main character and you get shoved into the back because you're so stupid you can't shut your mouth.
Only because people are sick
That's
of remakes,
insane to
but
me.
because Zegler was doing what Zegler does best and ran her mouth a bunch in the lead up to its release. This also included some political opinions she expressed around the time of the 2024 election. Zegler made a TikTok encouraging people to vote for Kamala Harris, as is her right, saying that—
Look, all I'm gonna say is that if you're in Hollywood, like, let's just say that you don't like the current political atmosphere, but at the end of the day, it's still a job. You need to keep your mouth shut to some extent. Come on. Like, what is... You can't do this!
there was no other option. Okay.
Shrek, stop
and that
kissing
those
her.
who
She's not for
disagreed,
you.
she doesn't want their business.
Vote for Kamala Harris. And it's actually non-negotiable. Our rights are on the line, folks. Our reproductive rights.
She's so crazy.
Go vote.
People who freaking make TikToks about voting. Nah, it's okay. I'm okay.
And if you disagree with this sentiment,
Shrek, stop kissing her.
hit the
She's
unfollow
crazy.
button. I don't need your business.
Babe, what business do you mean? As in the films that you act in? Like the one that failed at the box?
You're not even the one that makes the movies. You're just some actor as well. Like, I understand standing your ground or, you know, being like, I don't want these people to buy my movie or something. I don't freaking know. I can't even extrapolate this into an appropriate metaphor at this time. But, like, it just blows my mind because she's just a cog in a machine. Everyone else around her, maybe they hold the same opinions, but they still didn't say it out loud.
Box office a couple months later, spectacularly?
What?
Is that the business you mean? Probably not terribly surprising to any of you. After the election of Donald Trump in 2024,
Yep, that was a
Zegler
big
made
deal.
a post on Instagram saying, F Donald Trump, and made Trump supporters and Trump himself never know peace.
And then they made her apologize, but it was way too fucking late.
Comments she then had to roll back and apologize for. But even before this, she was straining her relationship with Disney, who didn't love her public commentary and especially didn't like her tweeting about freeing Palestine as part of her promotion of the Snow White trailer. But pissing off Disney and even Steven Spielberg's company went back a few years. And it seems to have started in 2022 when she expressed on social media that she wasn't invited to the Oscars that year as the star of the Best Picture nominee West Side Story.
I understand. I understand.
a film that was interestingly distributed by Disney. The reason she wasn't invited appeared to revolve around the fact that this took place during the pandemic nonsense, and we know how Hollywood is. She also wasn't nominated for anything, and she was also shooting for Snow White in London. She was eventually invited to host at the event after a bunch of social pressure from her followers, and in the end, she actually ended up referencing her lack of an invite in her speech.
Growing up in Australia,
You sound so salty bringing that up. Why? You're such a sore loser. I bet you no one cared until she brought it up again.
Never thought that I would stand on this stage.
And I never thought that I would be here 6 days ago.
Did it. Now, at this point, what had become quite obvious and evident about Rachel Zegler is that despite whatever media training she may have had, she's very good at alienating not only her viewers, but just viewers in general with everything that she says and every social media post she makes. And while, of course, there are lots of people who do like her, to many others who don't, she comes across as flippant and disingenuous and almost trying too hard a lot of the time. Trying a bit too hard to tell a joke in a funny way or deliver a punchline in a way that's super clippable for social media.
It's Hollywood, baby.
But after the massive disaster that Snow White ended up being, Zegler ended up returning to the stage productions where she began her acting career, starring in the newest production, Evita. I don't mean that Evita is new, it's not. What I mean is that they're doing it again. It's the newest iteration.
She kind of looks like a less attractive Daenerys Targaryen. Does anybody else see that?
Of the production with new people and whatnot. However, the nightmarish PR followed Zegler as Evita struggled to fill theater seats, and criticisms of the production itself arose when Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to have her perform the iconic number, Don't Cry For Me Argentina, outside on a balcony for people outside to see, but streamed inside to the paying audience. While many onlookers gathered to listen to her sing nightly outside, many in the actual audience felt cheated of their theater experience and have complained loudly online. And obviously, this was a creative decision from the director, and this isn't Zegler's fault by any means, but
Nepo baby, yeah,
she's
for
the one that
sure.
gets the blowback. For me,
I still don't understand how she still has like an ability to get a job as an actor. Like, how do people even cast her at this point? I feel like if you're so in tune with Hollywood, why would you even take a risk with her?
This is definitely a situation where I feel like she got
Nepotism?
screwed
You
over,
think so?
and this criticism that's being
I guess
levied at her is actually super unfair. I also saw some people saying online that she was trying to change the Evita script at one point because it is offensive to marginalized communities or something.
Why do you even have a say as an actor for changing that kind of thing? Like, I understand if you're a producer actor, but like, jeez.
But to be honest with you, I couldn't find any reputable reporting on that, so I'm not sure the veracity of those claims, and I really wouldn't put any stock in them.
Right.
I also saw this video floating around where
Well, I wouldn't put it past her. Again, I wouldn't put it past her, but if we have no unsubstantiated proof, then fine. Maybe she didn't say that. But the fact that she already did that with Snow White and was like, if you like the old Snow White, I think it's just, you're being a little bit weird. Weird. Literally a stalker.
Zegler was crying on stage after she got a standing ovation. All of the comments on this video were basically saying that this was a put on and it's super disingenuous, but I'm not super sure personally what to make of it. I am quite curious to hear what you guys have to say, so you'll have to tell me, but I don't know, it's entirely possible to become overwhelmed with emotion in a situation like this. Although I will say, you know, having seen a million different stage productions of varying quality, there's a lot of commonality among them where a lot of people stand up at the end and will often clap. Like, standing ovations are not uncommon, so I don't know, this is
I can't relate. I've never been on a stage before.
I will say I have personally never seen a cast member cry like this at the end of a show, but that's not to say that it doesn't happen. I mean, people do have actual human feelings, and Rachel Zegler is in fact an actual human. I don't know. You guys will have to weigh in because I don't know what to make of this one. Anyway, although I've seen lots of speculation that she's been blacklisted from Hollywood for the time being, Zegler is currently being considered for the role of Maria in the Sound of Music stage production. And I just have to wonder why on earth anyone hasn't learned anything from her previous experiences. And the headlines about this particular situation were exactly what you'd expect. All jokes aside, it is fascinating to see her continue to get jobs like this, despite headline after headline demonstrating the horrible reputation that she has made for herself because she just can't seem to keep her own thoughts in her brain. What I mean by that is she has to say them rather than staying in her little skull.
They should have someone follow her around and cut the mic off when she starts talking. They gotta have a microphone that just shuts off when she starts saying something that's not like part of the script that they give her, man. Yeah.
She has to spit them out into the world. In an interview published in late June 2025 with ID magazine, Zegler basically said that she views her platform as a responsibility to tell the truth, which is why she's made so many politically charged statements.
But you're an actor. Like, that's the thing. If you're an actor, you have to have some sort of, like, not veil, but unbiasedness, or at least try to be as unbiased as possible, because acting is an enjoyment for everyone. And from any, you know, left, right, center, straight, gay, like whatever. When you start getting political in such a broad sphere, it alienates people. Hollywood is not unbiased. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the audience. Everybody liked Disney. You can be a schizo and be like, yes, Disney has always been left wing or right wing. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Owned by corporate borpos. My point is that the audience, that the demographic that gives you money is everybody, or it's supposed to be.
Including those about the conflicts in the Middle East. She followed up by adding that there are worse things than seeing her own downfall for speaking out, which, like, ordinarily I would agree with. I guess good for her, if she really means what she's saying. This interview...
You shouldn't be surprised if you alienate your audience. You shouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't believe people take a stance on me saying Free Palestine or something. Like, of course they're gonna take a stance. Nobody wants to see that when they're watching a fucking movie about Snow White. The Snow White. Fucking... You're not watching a political movie.
I actually found a little amusing because Zegler talks about how she chooses positivity and how light she is, and yet not a few months back she was telling Trump supporters that she hopes they never know peace, and a few years before that calling nice princes stalkers. So, you know, I guess you're super nice when you do.
50% of the vote went to Trump. Like, you can't even deny that. Like, you're alienating 50% of your audience, at least.
Joke about cutting your cast member scenes. Yes.
And not to mention all the people that don't fucking vote, that don't want to hear about Trump or anyone else.
Real positive. Now, with all of this said, the question here is, why is Rachel Zegler's downfall so satisfying to so many people?
Because she's
it's not just about her talent, or lack thereof, depending on who you ask. It's about the fact that she has consistently and routinely, for years, rubbed people the wrong way with her comments, and in a way that feels personal, I would imagine, to some viewers. Rachel Zegler is still so young, she's 24, and many of the dumb comments that she made were when she was even younger. So there is a part of me that's like, okay, I mean, we're not talking about some 40-year-old person here. This is a fetus. We are discussing a fetus. Every single time I would start to feel sorry for her, and, you know, reading about the anxiety that she has from all the hate and whatnot, you know, I really...
She projected this image of being completely untouchable because she's above everyone else, that she's smarter than the audience, and that she's above criticism. She wanted to change movies, or let's just say the Snow White movie, at least, because we have actual evidence of that, And now that people are telling her that she's kind of being a bitch, and even after she said that the person who buys the movie ticket to go watch her movies, that nostalgia is crap and trash, and now people are saying, we told you so, she's kind of a bitch. She's like, no, wait, no, I need you to listen to me.
Really feel bad.
That's why it's so funny. It's hilarious.
But then, I would read or listen to the next thing, and then I would just be like, this is why everyone hates you. Bottom line, every time I would feel bad. She would do or say something terrible and annoying, and then I would feel irritated all over again. And I have to imagine that has been the experience of other people too. There's this sense of entitlement that comes from her interviews and social media posts, like when she complained about not getting an invite to the Oscars in 2022, even though she was filming for Snow White and she wasn't even nominated. It was like she expected the red carpet to be rolled out for her, a 20-something newcomer, just because.
I would honestly, actually, that's a really good point. I think unlike actors with decades of hits and stuff, who can survive PR fumbles like this? I can't name any off the top of my head, but I'm sure other actors who are much older than her and more experienced have said things that rubbed people the wrong way. She's new to Hollywood, so she kind of just sabotaged herself by burning goodwill that she didn't even have yet, in her hand.
Because she starred in a Best Picture nominee. Then
Will Smith,
fans calling that one
Mel
interaction
Gibson, Sean
Penn,
Penn,
or complaining about posing for photos at the Snow White ride at Disney. Essentially calling
and it's just why? Why would you even do that?
Fans annoying is probably not the way to win.
No, it's not.
Just thinking out loud, acting like people supporting
little
you
kids too
is probably not a good look. Even if you think this, maybe don't admit to it publicly. Just keep those opinions to yourself. And frankly, I think this extends to her trashing the original projects that she's worked on. It isn't bold or edgy. It basically just spits in the face of the classics that made her career possible.
And she invited politics into escapism. Snow White isn't fucking political. It's a story from 400 years ago or 300 years ago, and it was adapted into a Disney hit classic that has been around for 100 years, almost. Come on. For a lot of viewers, the final straw was her injecting her political statements into what they wanted to have a fun apolitical fantasy. And seeing Disney scramble to try and fix her and try to fix this mess that she made it herself. Nobody put her in this position. It just feels like the people are being preached to during their entertainment.
Fans of these works who grew up loving them sometimes feel personally attacked when she tears them down to prop up her remakes. And as far as the political statements go, I think that this is more of an issue of time and place. There are a lot of very, very leftist people in Hollywood who love to talk about their viewpoints, but for some reason, they're a lot less jarring than the way that she goes about doing it. And, I think about people like Chris Evans, for example, who's a good actor. I like him as an actor, but I hate his opinions. I think they suck, but he overall seems to be a really, really likable person, and maybe that's why it's not so upsetting when he expresses... and
he probably, again, has goodwill, and then he slowly built into having opinions, and you might overlook that if you are a relatively reasonable person. You can say, oh man, I really don't like his politics, but you know what? He does a damn good job of playing this character, or I can enjoy myself when I go to the movie theater and I don't think about his political opinions.
Extremely progressive views.
I think she's just
a dick. Of course, having your own ideas and beliefs is perfectly fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But, maybe using your actress movie platform as a soapbox is not the best idea.
And then playing the victim after she swung first on the audience, so to speak. I'm not literally saying this, but... when the criticism came in and people started saying, I think you're being dumb, and, why did you do that? She often, said, basically, oh, well, you're misunderstanding me. You don't get it. I feel like you just don't understand it. I'm smarter than you. That's also the arrogance and the I know better than you energy that people really don't like.
When you're promoting a family-friendly movie, like one with Disney, and you're dropping things like F Donald Trump and attacking Trump supporters and saying free Palestine for no good reason, It's not really the time and place for that, and more importantly, you are picking a fight with half of your audience. Zegler burst onto the scene as this golden girl, winning a Golden Globe very early on, landing Snow White, and was seemingly unstoppable. But then she kept tripping over her own ego, her own words, her own need to be the loudest person in the room. Every snarky comment, every polarizing post, every jab at a
main character
classic,
syndrome.
It's like she's been sowing the seeds of her own downfall one interview at a time. And when Snow White flopped, people didn't just see a movie fail, they saw Rachel Zegler's unchecked attitude finally catching up with her. I think people get sick of celebrities like Rachel Zegler because her entire industry is built around getting people to like you so that they'll watch your stuff. But she seems to think, at least in the way that she behaves, that she's entitled to the fame she has. Instead of being grateful for her audience and wanting to show appreciation.
And she's so young too. Like, she doesn't even have a decade in acting, no?
For the opportunity so few people get, she turns around and wags her finger at them through
I know better than you.
Insults the ones that she doesn't agree with politically, and shows so little self-awareness about the world around her while being so confident in her ignorance.
And also, I keep saying also as well, but in the movie was made in 1937. Even if you argue and say Hollywood was always really left-leaning, was really liberal, okay, whatever. Cast that aside. It was far more conservative back in 1937 of how everything was politically. Like, let's be realistic here. Like, what are you even talking about? Of course people are going to be annoyed when you change things like that.
So in the end, it's really not about...
Yeah, it was 1937!
It's about watching someone who thought they were above it all finally get humbled. And as
gotta
far as
change
Hollywood
it.
drama goes, this is the sort that not a lot of people can look away from. Now on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Beam using the link in the description. I love this stuff. I have gotten everybody in my life onto it, so if you too have issues with sleeping and you want to try something different, absolutely check out Beam. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Do you dislike Rachel Zegler? Do you like her? Are you a fan? Are you someone who thinks that all of this is totally unnecessary and very unfair on her?
I don't care for her, but she's being stupid.
Really just makes things worse for herself every single time she opens her mouth? Do you think that she's entitled to say the things that she's saying and people are just unbelievably unkind to her for some inexplicable reason? Do you think that she's a good actress? Do you think she's a bad actress? Do you think that her opinions are contrived? Do you think she really thinks these things and is just expressing them without any sort of rhyme or reason behind them? What do you make of her desire to...
She doesn't know when to shut her mouth. This is a 30-minute video almost. Basically, she doesn't know when to stop.
Basically kind of be an activist. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like helping you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you are not subscribed to the channel and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, in the interim, I hope you wonderful little chickadees stay safe and well and make good choices, because they are always important.
I don't know about that. I'm a VTuber. I already lost.
You can see down my top. Boobs?
That's not bad.
Maybe I'll just have to keep my chest out like a bird.
Like a T-Rex.
What the fuck? Was there her husband? Cute. Good choices? No, we don't have those here. I'm a VTuber. What are you talking about? Yeah, basically, she roasted the people that enjoyed the movies while trying to sell it to them. Imagine going to a steakhouse and then walking in and telling everyone, oh my god, I think that cows are disgusting. And then, like, be shocked that, like, nobody wants to be near you. They're like, oh, why is the schizo here? Like, you're in a steakhouse. Why are you telling me the cows are gross and you don't want to eat steak? It's so ignorant. Again, she wanted to be the hero, the activist hero that redefined Snow White into being this independent woman and all this. And now people, honestly, I think this is going to be a lesson in PR. Don't pull a Zegler. Don't pull a Zegler. Keep your mouth shut. Put your head down. If you want to make it in Hollywood or anywhere else, else. Like, if you want to be in entertainment with no bias, then keep your mouth shut. If you want to make money, keep your mouth shut. Don't pull on what? Don't pull a Zegler. She's crazy.